Welcome back to the Hodcast, the show about the work of becoming. The standards we live by, the lessons we learn, and what we leave behind. This week, the wonderful Clare Friel. She's well established, she's award-winning, and she's the managing director of Friel Marketing, specialising in social media, PR, and digital strategy. She works with ambitious businesses, including those in construction, helping them show up online with clarity, credibility, and impact. So Claire, social media has given everybody a voice, but not everyone thinks before they use it. What do you think social media has revealed about how people really behave, not just sort of how they market?
Social media can make you or break you. And that it's do you know what? We're in an era of everyone wants to be an influencer. And also, I think back in the day, you could go out for a night out and that you might have the memories that might haunt you because someone would mention it. But you can now, everything's on social media, whether it's that you're filming or you're in the background or something, like the Coldplay concert without a fair got outed. Like, it can't be deleted. Like, once it's out there, like I think last night we had Brooklyn Beckham and his rant about the way his family had treated him and the silence and stuff, and within 2 seconds you're getting pop-up notifications on your phone. So it is like, what on social media you have to think, if you left a room, what you want people to think of you. It is your people's shop window to you, and not just people that you have a chat with, like anyone. If someone's looking for work, they'll go and look you up. So yeah, it's really interesting. I was in, not to sound like I'm trying to brag, because I'm not trying to brag, I'm just trying to paint a picture. I was in New York for my birthday a couple of years ago, and I chat to anyone. I was in a steakhouse and I was chatting to this man, and he's basically made a living out of parents take him on as a consultant when their kids are little, and he basically scrutinises their social media, can hide stuff they don't want to get out there, manages all of that, so that when they try and go to Harvard and get into the Ivy League universities, etc., their digital footprint is clean.
Wow.
So like, it was so interesting. I think I had him on LinkedIn because I was just like, it blew my mind.
Who knew that was a job?
It is a job, and he's created it. Kudos to him. But yeah, it's like managing your digital footprint. So when you leave this earth in 100 years, what do you want your grandchildren to see? It's that, isn't it?
Yeah, we talk a lot here about legacy and about the lasting effects that we leave, and social media is a really weird one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you apparently now you do have control over your social footprint.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's not even what you post, it's what you engage with. So like on LinkedIn, like you can see it comes up on your feed, other people that have liked stuff, and there might be some questionable stuff that you think, oh God, personally wouldn't have liked that. Or employee advocacy, if you've got someone in your team that is liking loads of stuff about your boss is an absolute moron, that's a red flag. You're like, okay, that's clearly about me. What can I do? So there's so many threads to it. And then you've got your business, but you've also got your employees who are a reflection of your business. And it's so instant, like it's an instant thing. So you could press a button and let off a bomb.
Wow. Have you got any stories of anyone who's ever let off a bomb?
Me personally.
Not necessarily you or people but like horror story. I love a horror story.
Like me personally, I got trolled a couple of years back, and it hit me hard. Like I was not in a good place when this guy kind of said, I think it was about an award that I'd won, and I was saying like the pictures of me and my daughter, and I was saying like that she's my why and blah 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 blah, and then it was something about like so basically alluding to that I'm not a very good mum and I'd left my parents to bring up my kids, which first of all isn't the truth. Second of all, even if it was mind your business, because obviously I have to work to put food on the table. So my gut, like I felt like I instantly had to justify my existence to, even though I had loads of lovely comments, I felt like I had to justify my existence on LinkedIn. So I literally put this post together being like, I'm not a bad mum, blah, 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 blah. And then my old boss rang me. She was like, Claire, right, you don't have to listen to me, but I'd like multiple phone calls. So I took it down, reflected on it, and went back the next day and was like, look, it wasn't anything bad or career ending. It was just I hadn't thought it through. But there are people you see online, more like celebrities, that will get cancelled for for doing something ridiculously stupid, but yet not do it with any malice, just not think.
Yeah. I guess that's one of the hardest things that can happen, isn't it? Like, people be thinking they're being clear, but they're not actually being clear. And clarity, I guess, is sort of rare online. What do you think is the most misunderstood thing about how people come across on social media? Because, I mean, you work, that is your world, like you're in the digital world.
I think, so for me, I used to be Dialogob on LinkedIn. So, like, I post quite a lot. And then my thing was I'd meet people and they'd know me because of LinkedIn. Like, not saying out of arrogance, that would just be like, I've seen your LinkedIn post. And then I would always want to justify it and be like, I'm not an absolute moron, by the way. Like, I'm actually a decent person. Because I don't know whether you can always get your personality across. So it's, I've been very open with, like, my mental health, my journey to kind of having my daughter when I was at school to where I am now. Call stuff out in a kind way and see stuff from every angle. So if I'm ever going to post anything, I'll always think, what is the worst case scenario that I can get out of this post? Like, how could people perceive this the wrong way? Tags give me the fear. I'm always like, oh my God, if I forget to tag someone, that's brutal. Oh. Do you know what I mean? Like, and giving kudos to people that deserve it. It's always kind of making sure that you've got everything covered.
I think this is straight to the people out there that nobody ever does that. Well, I don't ever do that on purpose. I know you wouldn't ever do that on purpose. And I find that such a triggering thing. And I don't get annoyed when people don't tag me. I really don't. Yeah. It doesn't necessarily bother me unless it was my thing. I had a message from someone. I used to volunteer in the Calais jungle. I might get cancelled for this now. Yeah. But the refugees who were coming from other countries and ended up in the jungle in Calais, like a slum essentially, a refugee camp, an unofficial refugee camp. And we used to take, we did it was a listening project because when people come from a place, and again, I might get cancelled for this, but I'm going to explain it anyway, that when people come from a war-torn place to get somewhere better, and most of them wanted to come to England because we speak English, and they don't speak any other, they don't speak French, German, like any of the other countries that maybe they've been near or around, they speak English. And now we just did this thing where we were rehumanising, so we'd just talk to them. We'd just have conversations, and because they'd been dehumanised for such a long time. But the reason I'm saying that is because there's an exhibition going on in a couple of weeks' time, and I was sharing some photos, and one of my friends messaged me and said, "Oh, I've actually used this photo that you sent me in an exhibition already," and I credited it to myself. Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, okay. I don't." She's like, "Oh, I'm really sorry. I'm really, like, I really, if you're making millions of pounds off it, like, give me some money." But I don't really care. Like, I'm not. It's just a photo that I took. If I was a world-class photographer and you were trying to steal my photos, like, maybe. Yeah. But I'm just a dude who is on social media. Yeah. But it turns out it was a photo that she'd sent me that I'd sent back to her anyway. So, right, so she'd actually accredited it. But that's the really hard thing where you can't just play. It's really hard to please, isn't it, on socials? Because you get a group of people who love what you say, and then you've got a group of people who, like, just seem like they have nothing better to do. But also, you've got people get caught up on likes and metrics and engagement and all that jazz. But actually, there's people that are observers. Like, they're not going to like your content because they will know that it's going to come up in their feed. It might be that they work for a competitor or something like that. So you can never truly measure the impact that you've had, and it could be that someone's been following you for a couple of years and something you've done's really impacted their life, but unless they message you, you won't know. And that's what I love, is occasionally I'll get a really nice message when people aren't trying to sell me unlimited leads for whatever you get. Honestly, the bots, but it's that thing of just taking it for what it is. And actually, if you've got nothing to say, it's fine to say nothing. And I think that a lot of people, there's a lot of noise, and there's a lot of people that say controversial stuff and just want it for clickbait in the audience, and that are not educated in what they're talking about. So it's like, just shut up, stop talking. Well, it's like I love that, the people who have just become experts. We were saying just before we went on, like, when AI comes out and suddenly 2 minutes later everyone's updating, I'm an AI expert. I'm like, I can't even spell AI yet. Like, chill. I keep calling it Al. Yeah, no, my friend calls it Al. Ask Al. But it's that, and there was sustainability. Not that that's like become a thing, but
before it was kind of embedded in everything or talked about, then overnight sustainability experts. And you're like, but what is it? And I think there's a guy on LinkedIn, I cannot remember his name, but I love his thing. So what he does, when you see the post like, today I tripped over and hit my head and this is what it taught me about unlimited business leads, and you're thinking that didn't happen. Or my kid asked me this morning, Mummy, why are you, and you're like, just but this guy puts a little picture of like, shall we just put this in the box of this never happened in the comments, and I'm like, that is so good. So rather I just scroll by, and that's the other thing, it's okay to scroll by. If you don't like what someone's posting, don't give it oxygen, just scroll on by.
I'm one of the people who unfriends people on their birthday.
Savage.
I don't know. Does anyone else do that? I'm. That's the
In
only
what
time.
sense?
But that's the only time.
Happy birthday, bye.
No, but that's the only time when you like have a notification of when someone like you're
they put it back
you're
on
aware
the
of someone.
They put it
so
back
it comes
on
up on the side. Well, no, it comes up on the side like it's this person's birthday today. I don't know these people.
Yeah.
Unfriend, unfollow. Like, would you?
But I think that's the hard thing as well. There's with social media and obviously having a corporate presence, there's a fine line between your personal and your professional platform. So it's like Instagram is for my friends and LinkedIn's for anyone that will listen, including AI experts. But it's that thing of keeping it separate, but also knowing that anything from your personal socials could then get into the business world. So it's just, if you wouldn't be proud of seeing it out there, don't post it. That's it. I mean, look at the Colleen Rooney, Rebecca Vardy situation.
I loved that, by the way.
Invested. What was it called? Wagatha Christie.
Wagatha Christie.
But all this stuff, like, it's a blessing and a curse. Like I say to students when I go in and talk in the colleges, like, you have got access to so much. So when I left school, I'd have to go around with my CV, or you'd send in a letter, etc. And it would never get to the decision maker. You've got access to everyone, so shoot your shot.
Yeah. And I guess some of that isn't digital either, because, it almost goes the other way. I listen to a lot of people talking about like direct mail these days, like actual paper.
Oh my God, amazing.
Mail.
Like sometimes it's better to go old school. And that's the thing, you get caught up in the noise. And it's like when people have a new website and they'll go, can you mark out a new website? And I'm like, genuinely, no one cares you've got a new website. To you, that's the most important thing in the world, is your new website. Well, I've probably got more important things, but you know what I mean? Yeah. But you can spend 30 grand on a website.
Drop 30 grand on it, you want people to know about it.
Yeah, but it's like, that's not news. But also people. Like if you're a bricklaying firm, you're going to say you're the best bricklaying firm. The one down the road is going to say they're the best. What's the differentiator? Quality and people. You can say you're good quality. Do you know what I mean? You probably are, whatever. But actually the people that work for your business make your business, so showcase your staff and the people that make it what it is. But equally, people worry about people getting headhunted. So, we don't want to really promote this. To be fair, that was more in the beginning of social media. People are like, we've put them out there and they leave. If they leave, they weren't happy anyway. So that is, if that's an issue for you, they might get mailers and people being like, we've got this job, do you want this? But if they're genuinely happy, then they're not going to go.
Well, bricklaying's a bit of a weird one as well, because most people wouldn't move jobs for an extra $5 a day. Yeah. But a bricklayer will go down the road for an extra $5 a day. Yeah. Which, if it makes sense to them, good on them. Do you know what I mean? And we could go on about advertising for jobs and stuff. Like, I can't, LinkedIn started out with, like a community, but now it's like basically one big job advert, right? And they are actually, like, if you listen to Stephen Bartlett or whoever, like, that is what they're pushing at the moment. They want jobs. They want to promote people getting jobs because it makes the moolah.
So I don't really. Maybe I'm just not employable. Well, I'm definitely not employable. That's why I've got my own business. But I don't really see that on there. But it's more of that, like, business development, networking, showcasing, like, your standard of work, showcasing the size of project you want to work on. But we don't just do. So Friel's a full service marketing agency, but we don't just do construction. So we work with charities. Paddle is a new one. We've just had 1 mil hits on one of our Instagram videos for Paddle, what the girls did. Incredible. I'm a boomer, so I have ideas, and then I'm like, but I don't know how to do it. But it's that thing of enough, like, it's there forever.
Well, we're talking about sort of values and being values led and like how people show up. But but most businesses do want to be sort of values led, but they end up showing up sort of performative.
Yeah.
How does a company show up with conviction but not like slip into virtue signalling?
It's just it's storytelling and advocacy from people that work for you as well. So it's like people see through stuff, and a lot of time in construction, it's a local supply chain, a local network. So people will know who you are. It's just reinforcing the message. And sometimes it, like we'll see on socials, it's the people-focused stuff that does better than the kind of graphics, the graphic side of things, which are a stagnant graphic.
Yeah, what I'm getting at is like when you see people or when you see companies, and we've done it and I've done it before, when I'm stood there with like a box of Easter eggs saying, look at the Easter eggs we gave to these hungry children. It's like, who cares? Like, obviously the children really care, but we're like, how do you tell that story without it coming across like...
So you put the other person at the centre of it. So if you've done something good, you want the people that you've done it for to say that they appreciate it. Do you know what I mean? So rather than you being like, we did this great thing and we went down here and did that. Recently we went to X, so-and-so that was there says it changed our life. Like if you're doing a children's hospital, for example, or at Christmas, the toys that were brought down, this is the impact they'll have. So it's impact over ego.
Okay.
I would say. And it's that thing of, if you've done it for the right reasons, then that will shine through. If you haven't, and it's more a conscious thing as well, like conscience thing. Like if you're going around like giving £10 to a homeless person and filming them, like that's not okay. But in a corporate sense, it's different. And there's a lot of companies that don't promote everything they do in the community, and that's fine. But equally, a lot of construction tenders, you've got to have that element of CSR. So even if you're doing it for the right reasons, the measurable is that actually you might need to put it in your tender as well. So it is there's a fine line. Yeah,
and that's something that we're working on as a company, because tenders for like bricklaying firms can just be numbers, and it can, like, certainly as we're not a tier one contractor, so or principal contractor, so we're not tendering it. We're tendering in a slightly different way, but we're trying to market through our tender as well, which is really, really good. But you get into that like virtue signaling. These are the things that we did. But actually, I guess what you're saying is flip it to this is the impact that it had,
it's the impact
and then
that it had.
and it's still how to make you feel good, right? Like,
impact and value, and if why you've done it, and that's the thing. Like, people's opinion on you is not your business, like in the sense that, like, if you can sleep at night, that's all that matters. And it's holding on to that and doing stuff for the right reasons, rather than trying to mask poor behaviour and a bad company with a shaking hand photo in front of a homeless person.
Well, authenticity is often talked about. In fact, it's talked about constantly. Being my authentic self.
Authentic is...
But who defines that, right? So what is the definition? So the question is, like, what does authenticity actually look like for a corporate... When we're talking more corporate brand, because that's what, we're being authentic. Like, what does that look like? Well,
this is the thing, and I think authentic, imposter syndrome, holistic, there's a lot of buzzwords out there at the moment, and actually and it's not belittling that people are authentic or saying that imposter syndrome isn't a thing, but a lot of people for clickbait are using them as to get people engaged in posts. And I think in regards to being authentic, if your online presence, if you took that and walked into your office or walked onto your site and spoke to one of your employees, if they align, then you are what you say you are. But it's that disjointedness of, if you're making out it's all rainbows and unicorns online and actually you've got severe issues in your team, then stop. And it's we've got International Women's Day coming up, and don't do a post if you're not doing anything. Don't roll Sandra off reception and put a post about how much you appreciate it and then roll her back in for the year, unless because that doesn't feel nice either. So don't do it from not the right place. And also, it doesn't need to be, there's all these awareness days. You don't need to shoehorn everything. It's wellbeing day, we've got to do something around wellbeing. You can, but that should be ingrained in your culture throughout the year.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I actually think we do pretty well. We talk. You've sort of segued us really nicely into the next bit, which is you can come back.
Thanks.
The women in our business, or we are in their business. So most people know, like I work for GSQ. Most people know Gary Staines, but they wouldn't necessarily know Catherine Staines, who is also a managing director. And she, we have her and Clare in our office, and I think they're looking to take someone else on, who I'm going to assume will be a woman because they need to be like highly functioning.
Yeah.
so that's sort of why my assumption will be, but it might not be. It might, it might be a highly functioning man if you can find one. We try and. We have the utmost respect for them every day. So, not do we have to post a post about them, but again, I guess it goes back to the sort of value rather than ego.
Yeah.
And that they wouldn't want to be posted about. They wouldn't want to be wheeled out as you say, like Sandra from The Office. They don't want to be wheeled out once a year. What they want to be is spoken to and valued every day of the year, and I know that they are. And, we've got supervisors, which is uncommon in the brickwork industry, who are women. We've got.
I know a couple of your girls that have been part of Constructor Pathways.
Yes,
I was with them last week.
Yeah. So they, So I was with one of them on Friday.
Yeah.
And she's absolutely loving it. She's loving working in Cambridge. And we've got Eden, who's a supervisor of ours, and she is formidable. She's brilliant. And she just does things in a different way to the way that blokes do. Because, funnily enough, not a bloke.
Yeah.
And actually, as I said, like she's really high functioning and succeeds. 99% of the time. But in construction, we talk a lot about inclusion. And we've talked, like I've just said, about the good examples. But sometimes people do tell a different story. And I've had, ladies on, Helen Clements, one of your mates, and ours. I've had Tegan, I've had loads. Well, we try and this is going to sound a bit daft, where I'm trying to get a 3-to-1 ratio, a minimum. So it's either going to be 50-50 or it's going to be, I'm not going to go, I'm going to try not to go any lower than that, which is actually quite hard because there aren't that many women in the construction industry. But so what I'm trying to get at is, from your perspective, what do people misunderstand about women operating in and around the construction industry?
So there's so many elements to it. So sorry, clear my throat. I'm not going to cry.
That's right. You're an award winner. You're an award-winning woman.
You've got a bucket. No, so my thing is, throughout my career, I've always worked in predominantly male-dominated industries. So sometimes I struggle. So I accidentally started Women in Construction Anglia, not last year, the year before, and it wasn't about saying men are trash. It wasn't about us all getting around like a witch's cauldron and like putting spells or whatever. It was about visibility. So it's inclusion. And then I was like, but if I'm having, because my events aren't women only, they're called Women in Construction events, but it's open to everyone. So I'm like, well, I'm almost segregating for inclusion. So we can't say, oh, well, we're not included in that, but actually, oh, don't come to a woman's event, you're not allowed. It's that thing, it's getting balanced. So what is at the heart of everything I do is visible role models. So it's that thing of one of the girls that is now working in construction, she had never considered construction as a career, and through coming to the event, which is women from industry, students, etc., that's where she found her passion for construction. Now she's got into the industry. Also, out of the first event I did, I didn't realise that everyone's a no one, so I've just kind of, I'm a floater. But I'm lucky that I've got my network, whether it's national or local, and I've got the most amazing people that call it board of directors, that will all lift each other up when we need it, talk stuff through. But I'm lucky that I've got that. Some other people might not have it. So it is that inclusion piece, and it's not men's fault there's not more women in the industry. It's that when I was at school, if you weren't academic, as a girl, it was like hairdressing, hair or beauty. If you're a boy, it was it was get a trade. And equally, with the skills gap, it's attracting people, male, female, anyone into the industry, letting them know it's inclusive, but actually retention. So making sure that it's geared up to retain these people. I mean, I don't think there's a skill shortage. I know there is on paper, but it's that drop off when they leave college. They haven't got the work experience to get a job on site, which they need, but they can't get the work experience. So then at that point, you're losing interest. You've also got the people that were probably employ apprentices that aren't equipped to do so, like a smaller subcontractor. There might be 2 of them who just don't have the infrastructure to let them join the industry. So there's so many different things, and that's why with Women in Construction Anglia, I'm not trying to own the space because it's everyone's, it's not mine to own, but it's getting the right people in the room. Like I work with Constructor Pathways, who you guys know, and it's saying actually we've got the community, we've got the platform, but signposting, and it is that thing of leading with impact over ego, and just letting the stories tell themselves. And I'm not saying that there isn't issues in construction, but actually from coming from a different industry and having worked in a lot of other industries, because I used to be a job hopper, there is issues in all industries, whether it's the gender balance or whatever it is. But the thing about construction industry is we're owning it and trying to change it. And it's almost like you're putting yourself out there. By putting yourself out there, you're kind of on the front line. But it is that thing of changing, and it's not. And it's also a lot of the men that are working in it have paved the way for us to work in it. So let's not try and take that away. I was sitting next to a man at a do last year, and he was like, "Oh God, I just touched the microphone." That is not what he said, but he was like, "I'm the worst demographic ever. I'm a white man of a certain age." I was like, "Yeah, you're screwed." But it's that thing of like, if someone shares the same values, it's value led, and that's really hard with what you can do by masking online, etc. But it's seeing like the outputs, the actions, and sometimes seeing what is not said that is more telling. Like you look at Gary and what he's doing. Like I've never met Gary. We've had one conversation, but I've met people that have been positively affected by his work, and that's more powerful than a LinkedIn post telling me that he's great. Do you know what I mean? So it is that balance. Yeah.
Well, visibility is powerful, isn't it? But it also, I guess, comes with some amount of pressure. How do you balance being like a visible role model without being like the token?
Yeah, I don't. I think it's not saying yes to everything. So if you've got a community around you, like for instance, it wasn't last year. In fact, I don't know why I was going about when it was. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. So I got a call from, I think it was BBC, saying to talk about health and safety issue that had happened, and they wanted a female that worked in health and safety. So some people would have taken it on and blagged it. But I was like, I'm not qualified for that, just be honest. And then I reached out to someone and it being like, they've called me. Are you interested? Put them forward. So it's actually putting other people forward before yourself, and knowing that there's rooms that your voice, you need to be the voice for people who can't necessarily have the voice for themselves, but there's other times you just need to shut your mouth and let other people speak.
Yeah, I guess that's
what the cancel culture worries me as well, because I've got men that have been incredible and supportive, and I think an ally to me since in my career. But I'm also very conscious that if I put them out there on like a panel or something, they could say one thing and that could get them cancelled. Whereas actually that isn't who they are, and it wouldn't be on purpose. It could just be you phrase something slightly wrong.
Yeah. Well, and that's how, going back to what you said before about putting other people forward, that's where visibility is super powerful, right? It does become a superpower. So if you are the voice of Women in Construction Anglia, that means that people will come to you. And as you say, if you don't say yes to everything, then you can put other people forward, and you become a face, not the face. Yeah,
and that's the thing. It's like my goal for Women in Construction Anglia, I will, it's like aspiration and goals. What's the win for you? It's to shut it down. Because if I can shut it down, I know that it's not needed, and I know we're sorted. Do you know what I mean? It is that thing of like, it's not
Your goal is to not have to do that anymore.
Yeah, my goal is just to shut it down.
Yeah.
And honestly, personally, it's a passion project, and sometimes it has, like, when you're filling other people's cups up, yours can become empty. So sometimes there is days where I'm like, oh, do you know what? Will I stop? But then I'll go somewhere and someone will say, like, I went into a bar in Ipswich and the girl was saying, behind the bar was like, are you going to have one of your events soon? And I didn't recognise her out of context. And she'd been to the Christmas one and she was on a course at the college and blah, blah, blah. So it's like the impact you're having, it's just little things like that make it worthwhile.
Yeah. That must feel amazing, right? When you walk into a bar and a woman behind the bar talks to you and says, I came to your event once and I'm going to come. When are you doing another one?
Yeah. And it's that thing of she's at college learning a trade, and it's, it's that's the stuff that I enjoy. But equally, it's like it happened, it grew really quickly, but we got no funding. So it's then actually, we've achieved something, we need to put infrastructure in place to show the value and the output so that we can get funding. But the essence of it is that we're doing it. Does that make sense? So it's like trying to put a formula on something that you're just naturally doing. And that's what I struggle with.
What about it makes you feel good? I want to talk a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about legacy a bit in a few minutes. But what about this particularly makes you think about the long-term change? Because you don't start Women in Construction Anglia for the lols. Do you know what I mean?
No,
for the banter or whatever. You, what is it that you're trying to, apart from to shut it down, like for you personally, not societally, but talking about your legacy and, you know, what is it that you want people to say about you after having run Women in Construction Anglia?
I think it's not like, now it's going to feel like therapy, to be honest, but it is that thing of being the person that maybe I needed when I was younger. So it is what I've realised through my life is it's having that confidence to believe you can do anything. And it's that thing if like I had a bit of a mentee last year and like part of last year, and I sat with someone and they were saying like, because there is a lot of noise on social media, etc., a lot of people jumping on bandwagons or doing stuff for the wrong reason. And she was like, what you've got to remember is the people whose lives you've changed is, and it wasn't around me not being on a social media post or anything like that, it's just tiring sometimes, because I've got Friel, which is marketing agency, I've got Construction Anglia, which is a news website I run, and this was a passion project, and it still is a passion project. But when I'm doing 3 days a week on that, and my business is only getting 2 days of my time, which isn't necessarily true, but also doing other people's jobs for them, I think that's what irks me, is like, I love it and I'm doing it for the right reasons, but actually there's people with funding that aren't delivering this. So, like, what's going on? And like, I get phone calls from loads of different people and I want to help them all, but I think last year I realised like I can't, that was at the detriment to me sometimes. And it's having boundaries. But yeah, if I've changed one person's life, that's all that kind of matters to me. I know that sounds really like peace and love, but
is that true though?
Yeah.
And I'm sort of picking at you a little bit.
Yeah.
But you hear that.
Yeah.
Is that actually true? Because I'm sure you've already changed one person's life.
Yeah, no, I have, to be fair. I don't know. It's just, I can't explain it. It's what brings me joy. And it's that thing of like, it's more valuable than a bank balance. Like my kids and my husband take the mickey out of me because at Christmas and stuff, I'm like, I don't want anything. I just want to make memories. And they're like, ooh, making memories. I'm like, no, because that's the stuff, like, you can have a nice handbag, you can have whatever, but like, it's the memories. And I think it's that thing of watching someone grow, like, and knowing that you played a part in that. Maybe some deep-rooted childhood trauma somewhere. But yeah, it genuinely is that. I think, yeah, like I said, what I don't want to do it at the detriment to myself, but it is, yeah, just making that different and connecting the dots. I think I really enjoy doing that when it's really obvious what needs to be done, but it's been overcomplicated.
Well, it is it's the work of becoming, right?
Yeah.
you becoming the person you want to be, you enabling others to become the people they want to be, and that doesn't necessarily have to be in construction. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that might be,
and that's the thing.
Girls might come and try construction, women might come try construction and go, do you know what? It's a great industry, but it's not for me. And not because I don't like it or anything like that. It's just not for me. You know,
Yeah.
I worked in hospitality for a little while. I don't enjoy it. Like it made me money, but do I want to work in hospitality my whole life? No.
Yeah.
Same could be for construction, you know?
And that's the thing as well, like, because I was a job hopper when I was younger, I've still got the connections that I had. So it is that thing of I will help anyone out. Although, like, that's the thing about having boundaries. It's just like yesterday someone popped in the office and was like, and honestly, me saying no was so hard. And they were like, I've been told to come in and see you because we've got no money, but we need to raise 300 grand. Da, da, da. I was like, oh God, I've got to say no, because I knew the team upstairs were listening. I was like, I'm really sorry, I'm at capacity for my pro bono work this year. And that was so hard to say no, but I just thought I can't keep doing it, because as long as you give, people will take.
I'm in a real part of my life where I'm putting stuff down and to pick stuff up. Like I feel like I'm turning 40 this year, and I know I don't look it. I was going
to say.
But I feel like you work. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like I've worked and I've got to where I am now, and my life is full. Mm-hmm. And it's like people say, "Oh, well, you can stretch."
You need
at
to
the
shake
seams
stuff through the colander of life.
Yeah, and but you also need to, like, I've got to an age in my life where I can't pick anything. I'm not strong enough to pick anything else up just because I want to pick it up. Like, to pick something up, I have to put something else down. Out. Yeah, but what I'm finding is it's really hard to put stuff down, and it's really painful to put stuff down, even if that thing doesn't bring you joy. And you're talking about, your work bringing you joy, your pro bono work bringing you joy. The things that I used to do, like DJing, like stuff, the in the moment it brings me joy, but the run up doesn't bring me any joy. Reapplying for your job, reapplying for work, making phone calls and all that sort of stuff doesn't bring me joy. Like, playing music brings me joy. I can do that in my bedroom. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I can do that in my office. Mm-hmm. I can do that wherever I want to do that. I can do that with my 5-year-old. He loves DJing, And that's where putting that down to pick up things like this, the Hodcast, or any other podcasts that we might want to start, there's a real sense of pain to, like, it's almost like I need to pry it out of my hands to put it down. Yeah. And I get that's looking at, like, the future you is sort of what you're working towards.
Yeah, I mean, like, funny you say about turning 40. Like, I turned 40 last year, and
you did. I don't want to do that whole thing, but you look great.
Thank Botox. So it's that thing. I turned 40 last year, and my daughter's 22, my son's 17, my daughter's left home, my son's doing his thing, and I've spent, since I was 17, in fight or flight, basically, like, grafting. And then I'm like, actually, what brings me joy? And I don't know, it was a conversation I had yesterday with my business partner. She turned 40 as well. I'm like, maybe it's a 40 thing. It is just that thing of, like, yeah, you work to survive. You work to, like, for me, having my daughter young, I wanted her to have a strong female role model to know anything's possible. We work together, so she's finished her degree, or finishing her degree level apprenticeship, so she should graduate in July. And it's been like that thing of, actually, who am I? Like, I couldn't tell you. I could not tell you, like, what I enjoy travelling, but I can't just go travelling for the rest of my life, and I'll probably get bored as well. But it's that thing of, like, I tried cycling. I cycled for construction sport from
sort of 300 miles from the south coast.
Just did it on a whim, and I really enjoyed it. But then I've done it since, and it's not the same. And it's like, I need to figure out what brings me joy rather than carrying on, because the hard part's over. And yeah, it's interesting. So maybe mini midlife's at 40.
Well, it's one of those things. We're quite similar in that way. That I guess due to the, like, growing up process, I've sort of learned a bit about myself that I often find joy in the starting of something, the hard bit.
It's called ADHD.
Yeah,
you've had your dopamine. You've had your dopamine hit, and then the delivery doesn't bring you joy.
Well, but you say like you're fight or flight mode, like so. If you've been doing that is sort of like baked in, right?
Yeah.
So that's then baked in, but that is the hard yards. So you've been doing the hard yards forever.
Yeah.
So some people can just take joy in doing the hard yards, like, and that might be.
I just like nothing, like not nothing, but the simple things of like nature. This sounds so cliche,
No.
But like nature and peace, like that is what I enjoy. Like I went last year. My mental health was really not in a good place, and I took myself off thanks to a lady from construction sport, Katie. Like she was like, she knew I wasn't okay, and she was going to India, and I went with her, and it was just like I turned my work phone off, which I haven't done probably in my whole career. I was present. It was that. And my son ended up coming with me. He didn't do the retreat. He listened. He did a few things, but he listened to one of the sessions. He was like, "You've definitely joined a cult." I was like, "It's not a cult," and it wasn't a cult. But it was that thing of taking time out. And then what I struggled with was I got back. It was Christmas, so for me, business development is a big part of my business that I do. It was like catapulted into socialising, and it's all the energies, and it is coming back to protecting your peace. And actually, do I need to do this? What am I getting from it? It's that thing. If you don't have to go to the opening of an envelope, basically.
Well, that's exactly it. Let's talk about influence, because that sort of ties in to who has influence. So influence used to be rare, but now it's sort of default with this world of influencers we live in. And a few of my friends are really well-known influencers, but they're still just my mates. It's weird, isn't it? What responsibility comes with having that influence and voice online, whether that's personal or corporate? Like what with with women in construction Anglia, like what responsibility do you feel like you have with that?
Not to sugarcoat stuff, to be honest, and then also, just honesty and integrity. And I say like about like having the people who have lived experience, making sure that the right people are showcased for what they do, and like going back, like not in construction, but generally in the influencer space, like making sure that you know what you're promoting. So if you get gifted something, rather than just like do your research, know where it's come from, know what it's about, know what the people that own the business are about. So make sure you're aligning yourself with people that align with your values. Because like the Labubus, they come out of nowhere. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying I don't know if Labubus have values. One of my friends loves them, but it's that thing of like, just align yourself with the right stuff.
It's weird because like who decides like who has influence and what has influence? Because one of my friends is he went to drama school. He was an actor. He's a comedian, and he didn't have a following at all. And he started making funny fitness videos. He went to WIT in London, like that's where he trained. He lived in London, and he started making these funny fitness videos. And he had absolutely no presence, no following, no anything at all. And just before Christmas, he did a comedy video with Simon Pegg.
Yeah.
And this guy, like 2019, 2020, nobody knew who he was.
Yeah.
Then like 2021, 2022 takes off a little bit on TikTok, gets a bunch of views. And now he's like some influencer. He's doing adverts for all these different companies. Like who decides that?
The algorithm.
Do you think it is?
Yeah. I mean, you can promote, sponsor, whatever, but it's the algorithm. Like I did a video on my TikTok. I got 1.7 mil on it, but I'm not consistent because I don't know what my tone of voice is. I don't know. I just go on there for a laugh. But then I've got friends who have got like 500,000 mil followers on there who are consistent with their messaging. And that's the thing. If I didn't have my business side of things, and like my TikTok would be completely different, because I could have a real laugh on it. It's like even when we went up to House of Commons last week, we were going to do the Fergie trend with the London Bridge thing, but she swears at the beginning. We filmed it, and then someone was like, actually, can't put that out because that doesn't align with who you are. So it's that thing of like, if you can just, be honest, hit the mark, jump on trends, do whatever. We started a client TikTok. We started a TikTok for one of our clients. One day we come back from Christmas and his first video got 62.1k views, and it's been consistent because we've tested out a few things, what works, what doesn't, and we've figured out they like him, they like another guy, it's just looking at that.
Yeah. Well, if we're in 2026 now, what's your piece of advice for either an individual or corporate about how to grow in 26? It's all over my YouTube at the moment. How to grow your brand and your channel and your even if it's becoming a person of influence within an industry. Like what does that look like in 2026 that's different to what was in 2025?
I think it's still more people led. It's employee advocacy. I'm talking about LinkedIn as well. Or having your team, etc., doing it more engaging content, like real people content, not as polished. Well, still looks nice, but it doesn't have to be as polished. But always go back to your red thread, like what do you want to be remembered for? What are you looking to do? But it's still not all about social media. It's relationship led as well. Because you can inbox someone on LinkedIn, or like you're easy to ignore. Like it's. Do you know what I mean? Like,
don't inbox me on LinkedIn.
Yeah, exactly that. But you've got to build that human side as well. So it will never be, well, I might end up being completely digital, but it's so many different elements to your business. It's like you could have the best LinkedIn presence, but you go to an event, you get wasted, and that's people's memory of you. So just making sure it's consistent. And also as well, just like if you are working with a marketing agency, because I think that's something that sometimes we will be like, right, this is what we want to do, this is what's going to work. And it's that engagement piece of you need to, it's that trust thing of trial and error. So you're looking at stuff every month, being like, that worked, that didn't. It's like LinkedIn changed it all the time. So like 7:30 generally is a good time to post in the morning. Be on there when your post goes live, because the quicker you engage with likes and comments, the more the algorithm's going to push it. Don't put a link in the post itself, because you're taking people off LinkedIn, so therefore it's not going to favourite because they want people on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And they'll change it next week, and I've got no say in it. So tonight, Matthew, that is what works.
Yeah. That's the difficulty though, isn't it? Like, you don't know.
And TikTok, and it's like, what channel should you be on? Like historically, a B2B, I'd be like, you just need to be on LinkedIn. Don't worry about TikTok. Don't worry about Instagram. But now, if you're going to invest in doing Instagram and TikTok, what's it for? Probably company culture and attracting talent. So you've got to have the time to invest in it, because you can't do one video or not give it the time and then expect the results. And the content needs to be completely different, because what works on LinkedIn is not going to work on a
Do you think even videos? So for example, today I posted a video. I posted a video that I made about the last episode, and it went on, the same video went on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, but with different, but I tailored the post to the different ones. Is that
did you do your
as a done thing? And I'm not, free consulting, thanks. But in terms of if someone's listening now and that's what they would do, because
are you creating the video in the platform, or creating it and then dumping it in?
Oh, that's interesting. So I created it. I create on CapCut and then put it in the platform.
See, CapCut, that's fine, but sometimes people do a reel on Insta and then copy and paste it onto the other thing, onto another platform.
So I'll make it. I'm not like a Premiere Pro board or anything like that. I can use those, but CapCut is just easier. I can get it on my phone. I can do it wherever. But I generally make it on CapCut and then save it on my computer and then post it from my phone or my computer or whatever onto the platforms. Is that the done thing, and then just tailor the post, or should you have completely different content? Like, I guess we haven't really gone into like pillars of content and things like that, but do you need to have different things being posted on different platforms?
Yeah.
And what, or like,
I'm not going to lie, I'm nearly out of my depth now, because what happens is...
I guess you've got a team of people who work for you.
My team, like TikTok, they smash. Instagram they smash. They smash everything, but that is their forte. So like I will have an idea and they'll say that's rubbish, or no, but we could do it slightly different. Jumping on trends, so like trending sounds and stuff like that, rather than you trying to create content for your audience. Actually, what's the trending sound? Could I shoehorn myself into that? And it's just jumping on opportunities. Like one of the videos that they've done on TikTok, I think it's 8.5 mil views and rising, and that is just a trending sound with them walking up the stairs. My daughter, she's got one that she did last week. I think it's 500,000. She's probably on more now. So random. It was one of the days where her car windscreen was frozen. She didn't have a scraper, so she used her cake icing thing with like a trending sound, and it's just gone wild. So I could give you the best advice in the world, and we do work on it, and we do get great results for clients. But equally, it's just like to put yourself out there, see what works, test it. Don't be afraid to change it.
Yeah, well, because that's one of the things. I do my church social media too. Like I work with one of our pastors doing our church social media, and the thing that most of the sort of YouTubers are talking about now is posting constantly.
Yeah,
so
consistent.
you need to post consistently, because 2025 that wasn't really a thing. It was
it
was about good content. Now this is about just like
because what it will do is it'll test you and say actually people have engaged with that. We want more of this. Like keep going. There was a guy I got to work with. He's called Leaf Massage. He's based in LA. So he come over to do something at my friend's salon in Ipswich, and he was saying like he just created, and then one day one flew, and then that was it. That was the start of his. There's an amazing lady called Andrea Woods. She works in construction. She's in Ireland. Now weirdly, I'd followed her on TikTok because I just loved her humour and her content. I didn't realise that she worked in construction. She did a post about working in construction. Then when I did the awards last year, the Top 100 Women in Construction Awards, she hosted it, because I was like, she's perfect. Where it's probably missed them up before is you've got a comedian trying to be funny who you're like, oh God, no, that's not how it works, shut up. But she could get away with it because she's worked on site, she's a PM, she works for Midland Steel. So it's that thing of know your message, know your audience. And it's like the absolute simplest of things. You don't even have to put your face to it. Do you know what I mean? There's like the behind the camera. Like I bought, I've got one dog, I decided to get a second dog because I've seen these pug influencer dogs. I was like, I can retire, I can make my dogs influencers. I can't do it. They haven't paid their rent yet.
Well, my kids are making content around Minecraft at the moment.
Oh my gosh.
Honestly, it's so compelling.
The guy that was on I'm a Celeb, Ginge.
Oh, Angry Ginge.
Angry Ginge. That's what he's done. And then I felt bad because when my son was young, I'm like, get off the PlayStation, Dad. I'm like, well, actually, if you'd have had a camera, I wanted a nice nursing home. Yeah.
For sure. Well, there was that kid a few years ago who won £14 million on a Fortnite tournament, and they were like, people were like, oh, that's such bad parenting. Yeah, tell that to the £14 million that he has. Do you know what I mean?
But the thing is, since the internet's been around, since social media, etc., like we have, everything is moved 100 mile an hour. So like, obviously your Nokia, 9210 that was like revolutionary. But if you'd have said actually in a few years' time you'd be able to ring your mate and see their face, nah, you're joking. So it is like being ahead of the curve and not being afraid. Like even careers-wise, in the education system, is curriculum fit for purpose? Because you're not necessarily teaching. You're teaching like maths and English, which obviously we need, but like skill sets for jobs. Like I could probably meet a child who's in year 9 who can do better TikToks than me. Well, I say I could definitely, probably the whole of year 9. But it's that thing of, okay, what are the skills you need for life?
Yeah. Well, we went into school. This is a dangerous minefield. We talk a lot about school because of the skills gap, because of what's been taught. Like school is still basically a Victorian model, which has been taught for 200 years or whatever. No, Victorian, 100 years. It's just, it doesn't. Is it fit for purpose? Probably not. Is it easy to change? Certainly not. Like it's like anything. You have to chip away at it a little bit at a time. Which I guess is, we won't get too deep into that.
I know, God.
My mum is this is going to get me in trouble. Deputy head, assistant head. I don't know what the difference is these days, but she's one of them.
Yeah.
And we often talk about it over Christmas. Yeah, not even debate. Like, she agrees. It's not, but she's just one person in a system, you know, that, and she can't be like, yeah, by the way, we're not teaching that anymore.
Yeah.
Well, the other 8 people on the assistant leadership or deputy leadership and the head teacher and the CEO of the academy and all, and the government, and you can't
give them a realistic expectation on, like, if you leave school now, you could get a job that pays you X amount in this industry, which they probably have no visibility on because it's not their fault, but they don't know it exists. Yeah. Because it is moving so quickly.
Yeah. Well, then going back to you saying about having your Nokia 9210 or I had a 3210.
Yeah.
And seeing your mate's face, like, we haven't even touched on AI and the fact that I can make a video about you just by having a picture.
Yeah.
Like, I did it. I did it with my sister-in-law just before Christmas. I did this whole thing, and our family were like, "That is mad."
In the wrong hand, it's dangerous, isn't it? It's that thing of, like, maybe that's another. Well, I'm not an AI expert, so I missed the 24-hour window. Yeah. But it's that thing of how you can utilise it. Like, I use it to brainstorm. I found out there's a word for it yesterday, promptstitute. I'm a promptstitute. So it's like, I will be like, I have loads of ideas, and I'm like, right, is this a good idea? What could, like, I'll think, and then that helps me get that out of my head and either park it or run with it, and then have a conversation. Or maybe I'll know what I'm thinking and I can't get it out of my head to then explain it to my team or something in the way that, like, normal person would speak. So actually, this is what I'm thinking. Can you do it in a way that I think? That's what I do. But going back to the influence of what you should post, what you shouldn't post, like, AI is fine. It's a tool. If used well, it's a great tool, and it helps people write the LinkedIn posts and stuff. Just make sure it doesn't look like it's AI rockets, those long lines that it takes you about 20 fingers to do on an actual keyboard. Like, there's so many, the sentence structure is not human. Like, if you're going to use it, make sure that you train your bot.
Well, but I also don't. I have, and mine doesn't write any M dashes. I think that's the one you're talking about, like the big, I think they're called M dashes. But I'm unashamed about using it. If you look at the Hodcast post, it's obvious that I've done it by AI. Yeah. And I don't mind that because it has taken me less than 5 minutes. Yeah. If I wanted to actually write that post, like, I've written what I wanted to write, but then it does it. We have the same format for every post. I don't mind that at all. That's your thing. Yeah. That is it. And I don't really mind the rockets and stuff. I've taken them out now, but I do bullets and stuff rather than emojis because it's pretty blatant when you've got emojis.
And then the annoying thing is, someone said to me, "Oh God, your post, I tweak that a little bit. It's very hard." I'd actually written it myself. So also what we've got to remember is we're consuming so much of that formatted text and content that actually subconsciously we are probably starting to write like it.
Well, and you also can't tell, like, me and my wife had a discussion the other day about whether she could tell whether I'd written. She was like, that was an AI message you sent back to me. We were having a deeper meaningful over WhatsApp. Yeah. She was like, that's AI. I was like, no, I took 20 minutes to write something, and I'm really glad that you think that was written by a bot.
Yeah. But that's the thing, and then it's like sometimes something's written and you can reference check it and put it in and be like, is this AI? And it'll go no, and you're like, ow, I know it's you. But and that's the thing, that's the danger of people not thinking through what they post and just putting it out there like you have. It's a blessing and a curse, it all is.
Yeah. Well, when work is done and it comes to the end and the attention moves on, what do you want to be true about the way that you lived your life?
That I stuck to my values, that I was just myself. And I think if I was to go tomorrow, I could honestly say that I have done that. Me and my friend, we've planned our funerals. That's quite morbid, but she's got the brief. If I go first, she's got to dance to NSYNC Bye 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 behind the coffin, and then she's Ace of Base. but that's the thing. It's like living every day, like knowing. One thing I would like to do is take things less personally. I think that's a weakness I have, is that I can't let stuff go. Something happens, I'll stew on it, and I want to be heard. And sometimes it's like, do you know what? That says more about them than you. Just shut up and move forward with your life.
Well, we've talked about loads of stuff today: success, mistakes, and it all leads to this. To avoid the regrets of the living, as you've just said, what's the one thing that's non-negotiable for you about living a good life? And what's the sign that you're heading the wrong way?
So that you attract the right people. So if you're, I say your vibe attracts your tribe. If you're on the right path and you're aligning yourself with the right people, then you'll attract more of that. So I say that is a good thing. Look around you, see who's around you, see who's your cheerleader, see who's got your back. And that is a measure of leading a good life and success. Equally, if you're on the wrong path, look at who you got around you. Look at their reason for being around you, their why, what they're about. And that is how you know as well. As my mum always said, you lay with dogs, you get fleas. And it's so true. It's like one of them Irish sayings. What other ones is you get down on your knees and thank God you're on your feet. Never understood that. I do obviously understand it now. But my mum, you lay with dogs, you get fleas. And that is so true.
Well, thank you so much. A, for your time, B, for your expertise, and C, for allowing us into like the thoughts about your legacy and how you like to live and sort of how you want to be remembered, really. I know that does sound a bit morbid, but actually I think it's really powerful.
Yeah.
If people want to find out what you do, where you are, how do we find you?
You can follow me on LinkedIn. My name is Clare Yelland, Friel on there. And then our website is www.frielgood.com. And then on the Women in Construction Anglia side of things, it's www.womeninconstructionanglia.co.uk. And then constructionanglia.com. And equally, this segregation for inclusion piece, like if there is anyone who kind of does feel triggered by this women-men situation of like what it's about, I always welcome a conversation. So don't sit in silence. It's a safe space. If you want to talk it through with me as to the why, I'd never want anyone to feel like their impact's been belittled through it being a women's branding on the door.
Well, bless you, and thank you so much again. This has been a real conversation.
Yeah.
About
Part 5 coming.
No, I do. I love it. And I was chatting to someone yesterday in a coffee shop, and they were saying, they were talking about their journey with alcohol and stuff like that. And I know you gave up for a long while.
I'll be nearly 2 years sober in July.
Amazing. I saw it was 18 months, about 6 months ago. It's not.
Yeah.
I didn't want to ask because you.
No, it's fine.
But you also, they were saying when obviously when this comes out, will be near the end of sort of dry January.
Yeah.
But they were saying about podcasts and what they listen to, and I was talking about, we had Andy Ramage on at the beginning of January, but yeah, and about an hour is what they like to listen to, so we've been there, you know, and hopefully in the future, maybe 6 months to a year, you'll be able to come back on and tell us all about the fact that you've closed down Women in Construction Anglia and
have to do a live link from India. I'll be like, I've gone travelling. So no, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.